Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is about self-compassion. So what we've been chatting about is how sometimes we fall out of our routines. Sometimes it's hard to get back going, and we find that there are some roadblocks, some things that psychologically stop us from getting back into the things that we know are helpful and supportive to us, to our mental health and our health in general. Our mental health and our physical health aren't two separate things. These two things are very closely related. So what can we do to get back to doing the things that are helpful for us? And one of the keys to this, and I know it's something that the group of people that are here sometimes maybe practice I'd say not offline, but in Ryan's daily mindfulness circle, the group that is associated with these live events. Sometimes this group of people gets together and meditates. Often what they meditate with are self-compassion practices. So that's the real topic here today, is how does self-compassion link in with getting back into those things that help our mental health? So how do we get back into our routines, and how do we do it most successfully? And so, one of the things I think we talked about a bit last time as well is not to go crazy and try to do it all at once. What we may find is that slowly getting back in, and especially choosing one of the things that is it's the easiest for you to get started with, is probably the best way to go. And so those 5 pillars of mental health that I've talked about before are, meditation, eating well, exercising often, hydration, and sleep. So these things are not independent. They are all related, and I especially know that when I write down sleep, because sleep and all of these, right? I was going to say sleep and exercising often are really, have if you exercise, it's easier to get to sleep. But eating well, meditating, hydration, all of these are related as well. So if sleep is the one thing that's challenging for you, working on these other things are naturally going to help in that arena of sleep. So, and the other thing is that getting back into this can be challenging, and sometimes there's a lot of negative self-talk that's associated with this, and that's really what we're going to be covering today, is how do I use self-compassion to return to the things that I know are helpful for me. So the first real piece here is self-compassion sets the tone of the return. So when routines slip, whether it's any of these, it's self-compassion is the difference between saying you're hopeless, and this really is one of the key pieces to self-compassion, is the mindfulness around the self-talk that goes on in here, right? So it's the difference between saying you're hopeless and it's okay, let's begin again. So is it possible to notice? And so this is, just take a little side note here to talk about those 3 steps that Kristin Neff has talked about for self-compassion, right? The very first step, so I'll use kind of a different, let's go A, B, C. A is mindfulness. So you can't notice, you you can't start to be more to change the self-talk. You can't be more compassionate to yourself if you don't already notice the way that you are treating yourself, right? So if you can't see, or you can't hear, maybe in this case, the internal voice that you're talking to yourself with, then it's going to be awfully hard to change that. And so this is really where that foundation of mindfulness comes in to our self-compassion practice. Is so, can I, when I'm at a time of crisis, or just at any time in general, I mean, when something goes wrong, what is the voice that's inside my head? What's it saying? What do I hear? Is it, you're hopeless? And is it even like you're hopeless in a joking way? Ha ha, you're hopeless. I think sometimes that this self-deprecating humor, as much as we try to use it to kind of shake off what's going on, it can be a sign of inner harshness and a strong inner critic towards ourselves. So can we really, with this honesty, this non-judging kind of mindfulness, observe what that internal voice is like? So as we're trying to get back into the routine, it matters the way that we are talking to ourselves, because it will help to drive our motivation to getting back going. The other pieces here are, besides mindfulness, is common humanity. So can I recognize that what I am facing is not unique to me, that I may be feeling alone in this moment in the challenge that I'm having, but know that whatever challenge that I'm having, and I love this kind of, both sides of the coin in our mind, in mindfulness, is that although that my experience is completely unique to me, it is something that is similar. It's a similar challenge that other people have faced and are facing right now. And so this is something that really helps as well as we explore our self-compassion and our own challenges, is to recognize. And I mean, this is one of the joys of being here with a community of lots of other people, is that we can discover that we are not alone in this struggle. As we, maybe share in the chat today, later, or anywhere else. I mean, this is one of the main reasons that I encourage you to share inside the chat, is because whatever you're experiencing, if you share what you're experiencing, not only does it help you accept it and realize it and know that it's true for yourself, but someone else who's here today might say, hey, wait a minute, this person that's here today has something that's so similar to what I'm experiencing. I'm struggling in this same way too. So this can be very helpful to recognize. And it's something that I can just assure you that you are not alone. We are one. We all have a lot of things that we share in common. And that can help us as we start to set the tone of our return to our mental health routines. The third step of this is offer kindness. So offering kindness to ourselves, because that's that is the way to encourage ourselves. So offering kindness, having a voice that says, instead of something like, you're hopeless, you're never going to be able to do it, I knew you'd fail again, I can't believe that we're in this situation now, how could you let it get to here? It's okay. Let's begin again. We're here now. We can do it. Let's begin again. So that's one of the pieces here. Setting the tone of the return. Self-compassion, although sometimes sounds soft, and we think that maybe having a whipping stick to whip ourselves with is the way to motivate ourselves, because letting self-compassion, being kind to ourselves, that's not motivating. That's going to let me off the hook. I need a stern, strong, negative voice, like like my parents had to me when I was little. Right? Is that what I need that to motivate myself? So this number 2, self-compassion isn't letting yourself off the hook. Self-compassion isn't making excuses or avoiding responsibility. It's not about avoidance. It is about facing reality with kindness so that we can respond with wisdom, so that we can see things as they are, accept things with that kind attitude. I think that's one of the really hard pieces of any process of change, is that taking that moment to get out of denial and to go, this is where I am right now, right? I am here, and I can take responsibility for where I am, and I can do it without beating myself, and face it with kindness and respond with wisdom. So harsh self-talk is something that leads to shame, which leads to avoidance and giving up, because that's what shame, this is kind of what happens with shame, right? Is that when we feel shame, I have a physical, kind of a physical reaction, right? Like shame makes me feel small. It makes my shoulders want to come in. It makes me want to cover my face and furrow my brow, right? Whereas compassion leads to honesty and care and courage and sustainable change, right? And just feel the difference that these words have, right? It makes me want to open my chest, makes me feel completely different. And so know that it's not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about facing whatever it is that's happening with wisdom, with honesty, with care and compassion. Number 3, the honest friend analogy, right? Self-compassion is like having a good friend, right? This is, I love this. I think that's one of the things that it just resonates so much with self-compassion. It's like, how can you be your own best friend? Be here in your corner. And by the way, your best friend, a good friend, doesn't always make things, soften everything to the point that there's no message, there's no help here, right? A good friend cares for you, loves you, wants the best for you, and seeks intervention for you in the time that you need it. So is it possible to be like an honest friend to yourself? So one who's supportive, one who's kind, one who's encouraging, one who cares. And that's how we can talk to ourselves when we've fallen off track. So it's someone who's kind enough to tell you the truth, but doesn't do it in a way that has any intention to make you feel bad about yourself, right? Your friend wants the best for you. And that's what self-compassion is. That's what it's like. Is like, can I talk to myself in a way that wants the best for me? And so last but not least, self-compassion fuels accountability. So when we're compassionate to ourselves, we're more likely to engage with our practice, not out of guilt or fear of punishment, but because we want to care for ourselves. So just like these 5 pillars, just losing one doesn't mean, or not meeting our own standard for one doesn't mean that, hang on, I have my mindfulness companions in here today. Falling off track with one doesn't mean that we're going to lose it for all of them. And I think this is one of the things that can be really difficult, is that we find that if we aren't compassionate to ourselves, he's gonna show, he wants attention. Here, let me see if I can grab him here. Come here. Here he is, mindfulness buddy. I know a few people have been asking, where's Frank? And this morning, maybe it's because he just got his hair cut. He wants to be on camera today, I guess. Falling off track on one can feel discouraging enough that we give up, and it starts to cascade. So is it possible to be compassionate to ourselves, to encourage ourselves, to give ourselves this wisdom that we can stay accountable to ourselves, and that we can say, hey, I can do it, and I will do it, and I can be accountable to myself without being harsh to myself. So Jean says, something I've been aware of in the past few weeks is that extreme heat and humidity throw me off. So that could definitely be it as well, right? And this is part of our practice too, is can we notice the things that have strong effect on us and that begin to cause us to cascade in one way or the other? And can we be resilient? Can we notice those things and take action, right? So, hey, this thing, when this thing happens in my life, and maybe it's not heat and humidity, maybe it's when my mother calls, or when my judgmental sister says this or that to me, right? Maybe it's something like this, that this is something that I know that can make my entire self-care situation begin to fall apart. So if we know, and this is why mindfulness is always the foundation. Because if we can be aware of the things that are triggering to us, or that make us start to deteriorate in our practice, and the things that are helpful for us, let's keep this foundation, these things that make us and that keep us strong, both mentally and physically. Let's keep doing those things, and let's not let the thing that can be triggering to us derail all of the foundation that we have, so that we don't end up falling down that slippery slope of not being equipped to take care of ourselves. So thanks everybody for being here today. It's great to see everybody's faces, new or old. I see Fernando and Blossom Violet here. By the way, I don't think Blossom Violet, I don't think you've been on here since I've attended your lives, but I have to say, if you haven't checked out Blossom Violet's live events, they are fantastic. So if you like, kind of what do you call it, inspired piano music, it's pretty good stuff. So check out Blossom Violet if you haven't before. She's just written here in the chat. So they are amazing. I agree with you totally, Jenny. Absolutely, Blossom Violet. It's really great to have attended your lives. Okay, it's time to get into our meditation. So, of course, our meditation today has a self-compassion theme to it. So, just kind of be ready for that. We're not simply focusing with mindfulness today. There's a mindfulness component as we get started. And then as we continue through this meditation, we're going to be adding some ways to intentionally bring some self-compassion. So get comfortable in your meditation posture. And in fact, with self-compassion, I think that's something that I always try to remind myself and everybody that's following along is choose a posture that is compassionate to yourself. So sometimes we choose let's say a more rigid posture. We choose a posture. I mean, always the idea with the posture is something that brings relaxation and alertness. So maybe today, sacrifice a little bit of that alertness for a little more relaxation. So that might mean lying down. That might mean, not bringing your back away from the backrest, maybe relaxing into your sofa, your armchair, or maybe you're like me, you're sitting on a meditation cushion with no backrest. I mean, for me, this is a comfortable, relaxed posture. So just choosing whatever posture is going to be supportive, conducive to loving yourself. And, maybe in this spirit of getting back into everything, is slouching, letting yourself off the hook. So again, it's just mindfulness is this foundation, this solid foundation. The more I practice being mindful, the more I understand myself and the more I can give myself what I need when I need it. And so that includes the meditation posture. And so let's begin with some assessment. What version of me is here today? What do I feel in my forehead? Around the eyes? In the cheeks? In the ears? Do we feel tension anywhere? Maybe taking a few deeper breaths here. Seeing if breathing a bit deeper can help to intentionally release a bit of tension. So what do the shoulders feel like? You can roll the shoulders a few times. Move the head from side to side. Chin to chest. Chin to ceiling, nice and slow. Just seeing if some gentle movements of the body can help to bring a little bit more ease. As the physical body and the mind are not two independent things. Assessing the upper back, lower back, and being honest with ourselves, what we find here in the physical body. And sometimes as we explore the physical body, we discover tension that might lead us to uncovering tension in the mind as well. So let's take a few more deeper breaths. See if you can elongate the exhale a bit. And so here I am. This is me in this moment. Whatever thing you have going on later isn't happening now. Whatever thing that you've been through recently also isn't happening now. You are here. Your mind need not be focused on anything but this moment, this body, this breath. Today's society, it's all about keeping the mind active. So one of the reasons we may come to our meditation practice is to take some time to intentionally allow the mind to rest. Constantly calculating, assessing the probability of future events, worrying. Is it possible to let go of all of that? Just to be here with yourself right now, whatever the state of you is in this moment. The reason we assess the tension in the body isn't to make it go away. It is to be honest with ourselves. And of course, finding tension in the body, that discovery alone may allow the body to relax. And that's great if that happens. But know that that's not the point. The point is to uncover what's underlying these subtle physical sensations. Use that as understanding for ourselves. And so let me invite you just to focus as best you can on the feeling of breathing. Curiously attend to this feeling of breath, this expansion and contraction of the body as air takes up space in the body. And then lets go of that space as it comes out. And today, as we explore self-compassion, let's start with this soft, subtle, easy gesture of kindness, which is placing the right hand across the chest and the left hand on the abdomen. And so only as much as this is comfortable for you. Maybe over time, as this meditation goes on, your shoulders begin to feel tired. So you can let go of this and come back to it as often as you like. But just take note of what this feels like. In fact, if you'd like to notice the contrast, just bring your hands back down, place your hands on your knees maybe, just for a moment. Assess this. What does this feel like? And now placing the hands back on the chest. So right hand across the chest. Left hand on top of the abdomen. And so what's the difference between these two? So even placing my hands on my own body may have some strong effect or a subtle effect. Or maybe for you, you don't notice any difference. And where are the elbows? The elbows could be out away from the body. See what it's like if you bring the elbows in so that the entirety of the forearms and the elbows are also in contact with the body. It's almost like a little self-embrace. So using this self-embrace, this position of the hands to tune in a bit more deeply to the feeling of breathing. And now let's see if we can bring that self-compassion up a little bit more. So see if you can bring towards yourself an attitude of unconditional love. Loving yourself exactly as you are in this moment, knowing that you don't have to be any different. You don't have to be any better. That you are exactly as you are right now. And you can love yourself in this way that you are right now. if you're waiting for yourself to be perfect before you start loving yourself, you're going to be waiting a very long time. So why not start loving yourself right now? No matter what you think you deserve. The universe does have some kind of perfection to it. In that things are, in a sense, exactly as they're supposed to be. That this moment is this moment, everywhere around the universe. And so although we may be imperfect, there is this kind of perfection as we align with the rest of the universe. So, in a sense, we are perfectly imperfect. And as worthy of love as anything in the universe. As we are interconnected with everything. So can we start to love ourselves unconditionally? Just like a good friend who loves you and knows that telling you a hard truth might be difficult for you, but does it anyway out of love. So not in a self-serving way. And so you can, if you like, repeat a few phrases that can support you. In the first being, I'm okay just as I am right now. I'm okay just as I am. And I don't have to be any different from this. This is how I am right now. And may I see clearly what is here without judgment. May I see clearly what is here without judgment. May I meet myself with kindness and gentleness. May I meet myself with kindness and gentleness. May I be honest but also loving. May I be honest, but also loving. May I have the courage to begin again. May I have the courage to begin again. And may I care for myself in ways that support my well-being. May I care for myself in ways that support my well-being. And so let's take a few moments to return to mindfulness, observing feelings in the body. What does the chest, what does the abdomen feel like now? What does the face feel like? And so together, let's focus on the next 3 breaths. See if we can keep our attention there without wandering away. And I'll close our practice with 3 rings of the bell. All right. Congratulations, everyone, for having made it through today's practice. How'd it go? How's it feel? Is there anything different? Anything the same? And anything at all that you'd like to share? What it is that you're going through, what challenges you're facing? Thanks, Jean. Thanks, Blossom Violet. Feels amazing, says Alexa. Thank you, Caesar. I think feel more expansive, says Fiona. Thank you for sharing. Calm and peace, says Blossom Violet. I felt at the end of the meditation, as we were closing, I felt a warmth in the upper abdomen. It was like kind of below my chest, but above my belly button. Rachel says, it was really good. I didn't fall asleep straight away for once, but I did drift away after a while. Very peaceful. Loved it. Thanks for sharing, Rachel. Thanks, Fernando. Calm and collected. And, it's also these are all, let's say, positive things that came out of the meditation. I just want to remind you that your experience may not have been one of positive joy, ease, calmness. So just want to open the space for anyone who did have a challenging practice today. Shashi says, perfectly imperfect. Very beautiful and healing experience. Thanks. Thank you. And I'll just say, if today's practice went well for you and you found it beneficial, please do follow me on Insight Timer. That is the very first, easiest thing you can do to help out as as my kids are about to go back to school tomorrow. I'm finally going to have some time to be working more on Insight Timer, which I'm really looking forward to, and I'm producing some more stuff, so I'm looking forward to sharing all of that with you. So if you follow me, you'll get updates about it. That's the easiest thing to do. So would love to have you come back as well, as these live events are not independent of one another. I'm always kind of tying the last one into this one, trying to make it accessible for everyone, so that if today's your first time joining, it's something that you can get into, but also if you come back next time, it's not something completely exactly the same as we're going through. So always try and have a little bit of variation and have some kind of series going on to keep this to make it feel like it's a journey, because what I'm sharing with you is my journey as well. It's not just it's not a bunch of random teachings. It's also connected with what I experience, and most of the time that's something that you all can relate to. So I will be back in 47 hours. Thanks, Chris, for reminding me. Join us again in 47 hours if today's practice was helpful and useful and was good for you. We'll be talking a little bit more about self-compassion, and let's see, what's the context? Let me just have a look at tomorrow's practice, or the practice in 47 hours. It is, again, self-compassion, but as a foundation for change. So going a little bit more into how self-compassion accelerates positive change. So it may feel counterintuitive sometimes. How do I love myself as I am, yet change into something else? Right? And so how do I love me as I am, but also have that motivation to change and to keep that positive change? So that's really the key thing we're going to chat about next time. Thank you, Rachel, for your donation. And that reminds me, that's another thing that you can do to help out, is you can always donate if you feel like you have the spare income to do so, and you appreciated today's practice. Matt says, thank you, and a wonderful one. Challenged with the stuff happening. Happiness is a choice. What a gift to be alive. We are enough. Thanks, Matt, so much. And sometimes our pets, thanks, Jean, for sharing, our pets can also be a reminder of compassion to ourselves. As we think about those who love us and those who depend on us. That's one of the joys. I can, that's an upcoming live topic could potentially be, what are the benefits that pets have for us and our self-compassion. Thank you, Jean, for your donation. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Do take care, And thanks, CC, for your donation. I have a goldfish called Bubbles. Oh, love we have is just beyond. Thanks. Thanks, Alexa, for sharing. Rachel shares about her toy poodle as well. All right, let's close, and I'll see you again soon. So as always, let's not only thanks, Blossom Violet, for your donation. Let's not only have compassion for ourselves, but let's expand and explore expanding compassion to everyone else. So repeat after me if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all human beings, everyone, everywhere, may we all be happy and peaceful. Thanks again. See you soon. Take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.